Welcome, you're watching the Thrift Store Rundown, where all day today we'll give you a dose of comedy on the quarterly, and of course, on a budget. Let me be real clear. My disdain for the Real Housewives of Bravo is more real than the housewives themselves. I can't stand them. And yet, even I gotta say, they have a real knack for flipping birds. And I'm not just talking about these birds. More than a few of these Real Housewives are actually real talented in the kitchen. Main case in point, Teresa Giudice of New Jersey and her line of cookbooks. First up, Skinny Italian, which focuses on healthy Italian cooking. I bought that and reviewed that this past February for Valentine's Day. And of course, there's her Fabulous line of cookbooks, which follows the same theme. Two of which have been purchased and have yet to be reviewed around here. Plus, Lisa Vanderpump has a few ideas up her sleeves with her Simply Divine Potty Planning book. That's the name of it. Simply Divine. We'll see how Simply Divine it really is when I review that another time. And then along comes this. Cook It, Spill It, Throw It. The not-so-Real Housewives parody cookbook, unauthorized. This might be unauthorized, but with the foreword by Andy Cohen, the man responsible for bringing these atrocities and sophisticated living to television, and advanced praise from Real Housewives alumni, including co-hosts of the Watch What Crappens fan podcast, this comes pretty close to being wholly endorsed by Bravo. In any event, this is the joint effort of Chef Stuart O'Keeffe and comedian Amy Phillips. Stuart O'Keeffe's recipes and Amy Phillips' writing and her modeling of almost all of the Real Housewives in here. I'm not here to spill the tea on the Real Housewives. Again, that's for the professionals to do. If I don't, they're gonna wish they'd never been born. I am, however, here to determine whether or not this is the real deal, even though it's technically unreal. So, Stuart and Amy, spill it.
Chef Stuart O'Keeffe here.
I'm Amy Phillips.
And we are so excited to share our new cookbook with you. Cook It, Spill It, Throw It.
Inspired by the Real Housewives.
We have a ton of recipes in here with tasty appetizers such as
Head and herb, urban tomato bruschetta.
and delicious main courses such as
Bangin' meditation bowl chicken pie art. I've got a headache.
to cocktails like
Go to sleep, Kelly Bean Teeny. Go to sleep, go to sleep.
I'm not even tired. And also tasty desserts like
Trash sprinkle cookies.
and don't forget to get your copy of Cook It, Spill It, Throw It.
And pick up your ingredients for the recipes. Happy shopping.
This Stage 3 publication was picked up for 25% off the price of $2.99 out of the retail prices of $24.99 in the US and $31 in Canada. For this review, we're going to highlight 6 recipes, 5 of which coming from a Beverly Hills watch party menu, one of several menus that you'll find at the end of this book, plus a bonus recipe from New Jersey, because, you know, I'm a Jersey boy. Jersey pride applies in this, even though for this application, it applies incredibly loosely. So let's heat it up. In the appetizer section, we begin with the morally corrupt satay breast sticks, which serves 4 and take 2 hours and 30 minutes to whip up. 20 minutes of cooking time, 10 minutes of prep time, and 2 hours of marinating for these chicken satays. I want you to have a look at these icons here. You see that diamond? That diamond represents that this is a Beverly Hills related recipe. These icons here determine which faction the recipes come from. For example, again, a diamond represents Beverly Hills, oranges stand for Orange County, of course, a peach represents Atlanta, cowboy boots represent Dallas, a fork with pasta twirled around it represents New Jersey, and flowers represent Potomac, which of course is by the Beltway, near our nation's capital. Along the way, you'll get Stuart and Amy's notes, Chef Stuart's ingredient prep tip and substitution notes, plus Amy's borderline wise ass musings throughout, as well as Amy's stories on how each recipe ties into a Real Housewives unreal moment. Moving on. In the sandwiches, soups, and salad section, we have here Amsterdam grilled cheese, you beast. That serves 4, and again, this diamond indicates that it is indeed a Beverly Hills recipe. That takes 30 minutes. 20 minutes to cook, 10 minutes to prep. And Amy says, don't talk about the husband. Talk about this amazing grilled cheese, which utilizes sourdough bread, grated pecorino romano, Dijon mustard, ham, and Gouda cheese with pickle slices. Hey, if they ever come up with a Real Housewives of San Francisco fraction, and heaven forbid they do, I don't want the folks at San Fran getting a bad name too, they might as well think about this, because sourdough, San Francisco, they go hand in hand. Or in this case, bread and butter. In the seafood section, we have here Kyle by Eileen tuna. Again, a Beverly Hills recipe. That serves for, and it'll take about 30 minutes altogether to prep and cook. A photo of said tuna can be found on the opposite page, with Amy Phillips modeling, I assume, housewife Kyle here. And that is the Kyle by Eileen tuna in a cocktail glass. On to the next one. In the polenta, pasta, and pizza section, we have here quite a dirty Italian mouthful, so I'll say it in Italian to make it somewhat more cleaner and a bit more enticing, dare I say, sexier for you to understand. Keyword being sexier. Pasta deuce and whore puttanesca pasta. So named because puttanesca is Italian for the lady of the night, the Italian streetwalkers. During or after their assignments, sessions, if you will, the ladies of the night in Italy would seduce their men with pasta puttanesca. I'm being a bit more PC than I ought to be when it comes to the Real Housewives, but I'll leave that up to Amy to be more a bit frank. I'm being a bit more PC than I usually would be when it comes to Real Housewives items, I find, so I'll leave it up to Amy to be a bit more frank with you as she is here in this story. This serves 4 to 6 and takes 30 minutes in total to make. 20 minutes to cook, 10 minutes to prep. And Amy says only 2 things are true about this recipe. The name change. It got arrested because it's so good. So that means it should be guilty of getting you... Oh, forget it. This is not food business. Oh, wait! I was going to say lots of compliments, but come on. I'm not going to be that PC in a Real Housewives review. And by the way, that was the New Jersey recipe in here. Back to Beverly Hills, we have here Yolanda Bananas Foster, which serves 4 and takes about 20 minutes to whip up, 10 minutes to prep and cook. This is so named because of, who else? Yolanda Foster, aka Yolanda Hadid. David Foster, it was for the best. It was for the best. That is Stuart O'Keeffe's take on a New Orleans dessert classic. Flambe optional. I think we all know whether we like or dislike, or dare I say, love, the Real Housewives. No viewing party is complete without a cocktail. And this review calls for a cotton candy cocktail, which spans from a couple's trip to Vegas. This calls for Smirnoff, Cointreau, unsweetened cranberry juice, fresh lemon juice, and cotton candy for the top. Amy warns you that this drink might be erotic if you consume the cotton candy like Housewife Taylor. So it's best to share this with a friend if you're trying to escape the friend zone penitentiary. That serves 1. But hey, ideally it should serve 2 if you're aiming to be more than just a friend with whoever you share this with. Now on to the recipe reunions, a guide to your own housewives parties, and they're divided into 2 sections. General watch party menus for Orange County, New York, New Jersey, Atlanta, Beverly Hills, Potomac, and Dallas, and general party scenarios. A dinner party from hell is bitch better brunch, slutty island bachelorette menus, a shady tea party, a pool party, game night, and the most deluxe of them all, bravo, fucking dinner menu. And would you believe there's actually a kids menu in here? Aw, snorted Amy, you didn't forget about the little ones. Heaven forbid they take up after their moms in terms of personality traits. You do not talk about the kids menu. Buddy Gate biscuits, blueberry muffins, sparkle dogs, family van, veggie lasagna, pillow fight popcorn chicken. Did you know $25,000 spaghetti? Oh, that's a little extreme. And trash sprinkle cookies. Just as if we don't talk about a super secret stand of the Real Housewives named Bruno, or Brunois. See what I did there? Brunois, of course, meaning to chop and bits in French. and we'll assume it's the female French name for Bruno. Anyway, you know what's also extreme? Calling the Real Housewives prostitutes themselves. I actually don't hate the Real Housewives. I just play it up for YouTube. I do still, however, get mildly annoyed whenever they're on TV. And hey, since there's a Real Housewives of New Jersey show around here, we can all assume ourselves here in the Garden State as relative victims of Andy Cohen's escapades. And of course the escapades of the housewives themselves. But no matter. In addition to the recipes and the menus, we also have a guide to pantry essentials, what you'll need to get started here. I already explained the recipe key, so if you want to see it again, there it is. We also have a Housewives party board featuring several recipes from all the different factions of the Real Housewives. There's the party platter. I don't have time to go over all the names in here, but you can find them sprinkled throughout these pages. The food photography, the wise-ass musings, adorably wise-ass at that of Amy, Chef Stuart's expertise. It all comes together rather seamlessly. Yes, I gotta say, I'm actually real glad to have found this and bought it. I'm giving this 4.5 out of 5 claps. This probably is the closest we're ever gonna get to a collective Real Housewives cookbook, unless Bravo wants to throw its hat in the ring and commission nearly all of the Real Housewives to contribute to what would amount as a hardcover potluck of comedy. But until then, whether you compare this to the Real Housewives cookbooks or just use it as is, I think you'll find this, like I do, to be the real deal. Thanks for watching TSR. Now, to see another awesome review like this one, click here. If you want to become a Hollywood bargain hunter, click here to subscribe. And I'll catch you on the thrift side.